I'm Ashley, licensed mental health counselor, trauma and ADHD specialist, and apparently someone who starts podcasts now. I use CBT and other holistic approaches that best fit you, but my philosophy is pretty simple. Think of me as a guide with a few ideas that could help, a safe place to explore what feels wrong, and a partner when it just feels too hard. For the last 10 years, I've spent my career working with kids, teens, and adults navigating trauma, neurodevelopmental disorders, mood disorders, parenting terrors, and the general messiness of being a human being. I also have ADHD, which you probably can't tell, but you're probably already able to tell.
I'm Marcella, licensed mental health counselor associate and now fellow podcast host with Ashley. I earned my master's in clinical mental health counseling from Marian University in Indianapolis. I've worked with a wide range of clients, from unhoused individuals and veterans to youth, adults, and families, navigating anxiety, depression, trauma, and the general overwhelm of being a human in today's world. My approach is humanistic, holistic, grounded in seeing the person before the problem. I believe you already hold many of the answers. Sometimes it just takes the right space to find clarity. Outside of the therapy room, I'm probably building Legos or playing with my dogs. My goal for Adjust the Conversation is simple: to show that conversations about mental health don't have to be awkward or overly clinical. They just need to happen.
Welcome to Adjust the Conversation, a podcast where mental health is spoken about honestly, without judgment, and in a way that actually makes sense for real people living real lives. Each week, we dig into the questions, struggles, and stories that shape us, and we explore practical ways to feel a little lighter and a lot more understood. Today's episode covers teen dating violence, unhealthy relationships, and emotional abuse. If any of these topics are sensitive for you, please listen at your own pace. You're always allowed to step away and come back. You're 16. Your phone lights up. Oh, it's them. Your stomach drops before you even read it. You already know the tone. You already know what's coming. They're upset. They're upset you didn't answer fast enough. They say if you really cared, you wouldn't ignore them like that. You weren't ignoring them. You were at dinner with your family, but your fingers are already typing up sorry before your brain catches up. You're typing up sorry because they didn't mean it like that. Because they had a rough week. Because when it's good, it's really good. Because this is just how they show they care. Because you love them, because it won't happen again, and again, and again. That feeling in your stomach, that's not love talking. That's your nervous system keeping score. Today we're talking about what safe love actually feels like and why the version of love that requires that much explaining might not be love at all. Okay, Marcella, that hook was a little intense, but is that the image that comes to mind when you think of teen dating violence? Or do you have another picture?
I think that's part of it because, for me in that little snippet, I sense some control. I sense some hypervigilance. And for me, I think, and we'll talk about this later, those are some red flags.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I think, that control and hypervigilance and, having to explain yourself, for just me out to dinner.
Right. You wouldn't think that would be as big of a deal as it is.
Right.
I feel like there's a common thought there of just like, I wonder why that doesn't feel right.
Right.
And you're saying words like hypervigilance, this doesn't feel right, and I'm wondering, I'm always looking, and that just brings that safety word to mind.
Yep.
Callback, is that what you call it? To the last one?
Yeah.
Call back to that one with the safety conversation.
Hey, Maslow's, what's up?
I was talking about that the other day with a kid, Maslow's.
What came up?
The safety issue. We were talking about trauma and crisis, which ironically today with the team dating. Like, yeah. And just how, like, you can't move out of that if you don't have the safety part. And so with you, like, oh, I was hearing this, and this. I'm like, oh my gosh. We're back to the main course, maybe?
Yeah. The baseline that we all need.
That's true.
It is.
Well, and then what happens if you grow up with, not knowing that safety? That statistic there, 1 in 3 U.S. teens experience some form of abuse before adulthood. Well, then what if that's your, I don't want to say baseline again, but then what if that's where it starts? I mean, I don't know. I work a lot with the trauma kids, and you hear that a lot. You have to, like, redefine and tweak what love is, because theirs is conditional.
It's cute.
Well, yeah. I think they'd agree with you there. Absolutely. Do you see that working with, you work with trauma, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Like, hold up.
Yeah.
Do you have to redefine that often?
I feel like working with, mainly my trauma with work comes up with teens, not like those younger. And again, shout out, call back to our last episode, but today's youth just are so resilient given the climate of today. And so I feel like I don't have to adjust my language. Sure, like, meet them where they're at.
Well,
but
like, use their words to describe.
exactly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, again,
Because
yeah, right.
I feel like youth today, teens today that I worked with who have experienced trauma, they are so in tune with how it impacts them.
Dude, the awareness is insane.
Yes. Yeah. So it's almost like with a lot of the teens I work with, there's like a common ground that we can walk on together.
Oh, nice.
That's what I have just gotten lucky and found. What? Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Again, there's this meet 'em where I'm at, find that common ground, reach out. Footholds of safety, I guess. Because they're like, oh, okay, wait. You're into me. Like, okay, this is working. Okay, you like trains, I like trains. Okay, you can see what my main age group is here. But, like, I don't know, you like Snapchat? I don't know what they do. I mean, judge me hard.
Which I'm sure Snapchat will come up later in this conversation.
Lord, it's so great. I love the internet. The internet is amazing. But, like, and I think that's what.
But then that safety part comes in.
When I read this next statistic here, the 4,000 teens a day one, I was like, oh. I wanted to look that statistic up because it's such a powerful one. And the exact number, I was close to it, right? 4,105 teens daily are victims of dating violence. And there's some subcategories in there, like 10% have been the victim of, like, specifically dating violence. 23 experienced that domestic violence prior. And then 10% of those had some sort of victimization from a dating partner. So there's all these little subcategories, but, like, that makes me feel awful.
I mean, over 4,000 daily.
That's a big, man.
I mean, given that statistic, Ashley, that's big. So is this coming up at home, this conversation of, what is healthy relationships? What is, going towards unhealthy? Is this talked about at home, do you think? Between kiddo, parents, guardians?
I think the younger ones, when I say younger, I mean like 11 or 12, who's like, I have a boyfriend. And you're like, sure you do. Right. It's like Riley's from Inside Out. Yeah, I love Riley, Tiger Riley. So I think that's kind of their little cute romanticized. Yeah. But education does start there, right? Because Riley's boyfriend, he's a little obsessive, right? Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I know you were made in a machine, dude, but take a breath. But I think it's really uncomfortable to talk about. Because when I was 15, that's the last thing I wanted to talk. My parents knew everything. They're not idiots. Like, I thought, oh my God, I don't want to do it. I'm so, like, embarrassed. And so for that reason, I think it's made more uncomfortable than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess it depends on the parents' level of comfort with just the whole everything. And we're not talking about, like, birds and the bees. It's just like, hey, how to date and have a good relationship whether it be a friendship or a mentorship or whatever.
Or like hopefully that's being modeled somewhere, whether that's at home, school,
Boy Scouts, yeah.
extracurriculars.
Yes.
Hopefully those healthy adult relationships are being modeled to show, hey, this is the foundation of what healthy in a relationship looks like.
Exactly. You know, it's not an extra that can be added on for convenience type idea. It's like, in order to even let your body calm down enough, right? We talked about that, like, biology part of it last time. Hey, call back again. Think about, like, that sets in. All those chemicals just blah in the brain. That's a scientific term, by the way.
Well, I've heard that.
Yeah, I knew that. Professor or two might have used it. I apologize to my institutions. I had no other words. But yeah, no, it's not negotiable. And if you don't know what safety feels like, even for teenagers, because everything's up in the air when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not that ancient. Like, I can kind of remember a little bit. I think that's maybe an argument too. Can parents even remember what it's like?
And then the difference of the time of when they were dating,
Yeah. Courting constitutionals.
because it feels that long ago. How fast things have changed.
Well, and I mean, to your point, you mentioned, the internet and Snapchat.
Yep.
How do you talk about something you don't know anything about?
Right.
And I know, like, AT&T, at least that's the one I use, they have those digital, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? The digital forms.
Yeah, I love
Oh, hey, well, way to go. All right, yeah. And that's kind of where when parents or something come in, like, hey, my teen, God, I feel so anxious. And my teen, right? But, like, this kid here is like, they're putting caution to the wind. And that's just like why you have to have that critical thinking when you enter that in. You got to go in thinking, hey, maybe I ought to be a touch guarded.
Yeah.
Just a scooch.
Just intentional.
Yeah.
Maybe not guarded, intentional.
That's a better word for it. Yeah. They're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
I think that's more of where it was going. Not so much guarded, but yeah. That'll be a fun thing to edit later. I might just leave it. And and then you try to explain safety to these guys. I don't know if you've ever had that conversation. Have you talked to the, 15 to 18?
What is safety? Honey. They laugh in my face. Okay.
I love it. Baha, you loser.
Right. No, wait. Dude.
I'm trying to, like, help you.
I
Go at it.
Please let me.
Any potential people, please just don't laugh, like, directly in our face. Maybe just, like, on the side. Like, heh.
Right. Just wait for the hour to be up.
Oh, yeah, I'll laugh with you about me as we walk out.
Right.
Oh, but how do you help them? Like, where did we go with this?
Yeah, I know.
How do you help them realize what safety feels like, especially if those, like, teenagers, for example, didn't know what unconditional anything was?
Right. I think going back and honestly, and not to beat a dead horse, but I have whipped out my Maslow's pyramid before and talked about, dude, where are you on this? And what, like, think of it as like a bar graph and, like, shade in where you feel like,
That's a
it hasn't been met for you. Where are you on this spectrum of each of these different, safety things that, where are you? Where are you feeling like this is being met and not? I've done that before and I found, like, especially for those teens that, again, like, it is a hard conversation to have. It can be uncomfortable, especially if you have a history. And so, like, kind of eliminating that talk part right away and might just be like, hey, slide this over.
What's up, fellow youths? Where's this for you? Where are you?
Tell me. Yeah, so I can meet you.
Yeah. No, because, yeah, if I'm going to, I explain it like, if I'm going to pull you up, that's no fair to you.
Yeah.
You're going to fall on your face, and that's not your fault.
No.
So we got to start where you're at. And it doesn't mean you're stupid. I'm not attacking your intelligence. I just want you to succeed.
Right.
And I do find that if you sit down and level with a lot of these kids, especially the more resistant ones. I'm not doing anything. It's fine.
Yeah.
They would never is my favorite one. They would never. And I was like, well, that shows me that there's some patterns we have to break. And then you have a message coming from, if the household isn't aligned, right? You have a message from the house saying, hey, you got to do one thing. The kid's like, well, my biology's telling me another. Then you got the friends and the social media. I'm just, ugh. But still, it's like, where do you pin down what safe is? And so I love that you pulled out that, it's a classic for a reason.
No, for real. It really is.
Yeah, yeah. And I end up coming to, I heard this on social media, weirdly enough, about, this guy was talking with like a client or whatever. He said, hey, do you feel safe? He's like, I don't really know what that is. And the guy's like, cool. Tell me about a time you were playing when you were a kid. You may have seen this video. And he's like, oh, with my TY Beanie Babies and my Neopets because I'm 90s, right? And like, he's like, oh, so you do remember stuff from your childhood. He's like, oh, no, just stuff like that. He's like, so that's safety. Right? Because you're able to because play is safety. That's why I love that play therapy.
Yeah.
So those kids come in, teens can use, adults, heck, they can
Oh,
use
absolutely. Plays for everybody.
And so I was like, look, tap it. If it doesn't feel something like that, and then if you can't shade that in with Maslow or vice versa,
yeah,
just sit with it, explore it. Because how do you know what you're looking for if you don't know what you're looking for? Which makes no sense, but every sense if you don't think about it. Okay.
You have to know the feeling to try to feel and like feel it again. I feel like you have to go back and find it in its origin.
Oh, in its origin. Okay. I see you over there.
Yeah.
Those little like deep-seated Freudian nuggets that like you think therapy's going to be. Yeah, there it is. The golden nugget. Oh, that sounded awful. Golden nugget. No, I agree though. Walking on eggshells like the hook said.
Right.
Not feeling like your limits are being respected. Not having trust. Safety. Honesty. So if that's what safe feels like a warm bowl of Jell-O, absolutely yes, actually. Oh, I'm so sorry. But also yes. Why do I have such a hard time helping people realize that them staying is so hurtful? But it was just one time. It was another step.
Well, and not to sound like you,
Oh, please.
but just the neurology going on of just the neuroscience of bonding, right?
Absolutely.
And just how that contributes and feeds into that narrative that, this wasn't Lincoln.
Yeah. That critical judgment center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
impressive. I can't believe I can't remember what I ate for lunch, but I can remember that.
It's just who you are.
But and I wouldn't change it.
I really would not either. I love it.
Oh Lord. But yeah, it just turns those centers off. I mean, and at least back in a couple of my old jobs, right, I've had it's just leaving for adults is complicated, right? Think about the social structures that exist for some of these kids today. They just can't leave.
Right.
It's
yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
And so for you, what are the bigger things that you're seeing that keep people stuck in that? Obviously, like, but I love him. Daddy, I love him. Isn't that Taylor Swift's song? Oh, never mind.
I'm not Swiftie.
That's fine. I probably butchered it. Sorry, Taylor. It's fine.
Oh no, they're gonna come for us.
Oh no, please. If I could just meet Non, I'm fine. The cool dancer. Hey, what's up? Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
What were you asking me?
Oh, what was I asking? Oh, what you hear being the bigger barriers to like staying, leaving.
I mean, I think the fear of abandonment and just not having anyone. I hear it so much with teens today.
What? Yes, like fear of like loneliness. They say there's a loneliness epidemic.
Okay, well then yes. Because they say abandonment. I'm not quite sure if that. I mean, that's what they say, and like, yeah, we're gonna run with it. That's how they're feeling. But we're gonna like try to figure out if that is that or what other feeling could be behind that. And I think you hit it when you said loneliness. I think like there is a fear of being alone, which makes sense in general, but I think especially for today's youth, given today's climate and how, like, I feel like now more than ever is crucial to have a strong support system.
Oh my gosh. Well, and it doesn't have to be just your family either. Right. If your support system's your bestie 2 doors down, that's your support system. Like, lean into it.
Right.
Dogs do count. I would like with verbal skills, though.
They're going to need to figure that out.
Yeah. They already have the eyebrows. I read an article once that dogs have evolved to have their eyebrows have micro movements so they can better communicate with humans. If that is not true, let me know. But
no, it is.
It is. You've heard it. Okay. I'm looking around like there's people in here to challenge me on that, and there's nobody. There's a backpack and you. So I guess you support it.
No, I affirm.
Live in the studio. Yeah, reasons for staying. Fears you were talking about, like hey, abandonment. I don't want to be alone. Oh yeah, and I feel like this is such a cheesy thing to say, but it's a victimless crime. You know, alone is when you're surrounded by people, but you don't feel connected.
Exactly.
Right. And again, what's the basis of connection? Safety. Say it with me. So how do you overcome, I guess, that powerful, because I mean, you're working against 2 pushes here. One is development in general, like biological development. Of it's like, hey, I need to go forth and bunny rabbit this thing. And then you're also fighting the stages of life. You know, depending on what age group you're working with, they might be entering in that intimacy isolation stage. You know, because I know, it's a little gray there at the end. So I just stop it. Hey, what's up, Eric's son? Credit where credit is due. We don't plagiarize here. And if we do, it's on accident. Yeah, and we apologize for it. But yeah, so you're working against the biological, you're working against the Ericksonian one.
Yeah, right.
And I'm sure there's another one I'm not thinking of.
Well, it's just all the psychosocial components, right? Yep. And especially, and I'm thinking of teens because that's predominantly who I talk with.
No, it's amazing because that's who this is for.
Right? I mean, the most important thing right now for them is those peer relations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's also some background noise with that of, does my friend have a boyfriend?
Oh.
Partner, girlfriend, whatever. And like that pull of wanting to fit in and maybe staying in something that maybe those red flags are popping up and it's not healthy.
No.
But, that peer relation and comparison in this time is so strong that sometimes that will genuinely override what you feel is safe.
Yeah, that acceptance just mows down everything else.
Dang.
Well, I mean, it's like the Amazon, what's that, Mean Girls?
Yeah.
Where they like, and it's like Cats in the Jungle. I mean, I know it's funny, but also
it's hard.
It's hard. And imagine having to go through that all by yourself. It's like, yeah, but at least I got somebody, ?
Exactly. And that touches back on that loneliness. At least I have somebody.
Well, and then how do you connect, right? Because, I sit there and I try and help them say, okay, well, what's your special interest group? They may not have much.
Right.
With the I think also they have to know themselves as well, right? Like, what do you like, and be confident in that while battling exactly what you said at the same time.
Right.
And it just takes you back to, I say kid, but, she's like 17, talking about how, like, her friend, she hated the boyfriend. Oh, he was awful. I mean, talked down, derogatory, everything. He's like, no, you're just too sensitive. And all the girls were like, okay, red flag, this massively big red flag.
Yeah.
And at the end, right, she eventually dumps him and comes back. And they didn't tell her that they didn't like the boyfriend. They didn't want to hurt her feelings. Turns out the girl's like, well, I think my friends really like the boyfriend, so maybe I should keep him because that's going to keep the friend group together. And like, oh my Lord, the social web we weave.
Right.
Holy cannoli. And if they ended up thinking the same thing, I was like, you got lips.
I'm begging. Talk. Begging for someone to speak up. It's
Right.
hard though.
Because what if you speak up and then it's like, your fears are true?
Right. Well, and just the fear that what could come of this if I do bring this up? Do I lose this friend?
Yeah, because you lose friends in the divorce. Like,
Right.
and I guess that leads into a whole other, how do you repair it when you leave and things like that, which we'll get to, I'm sure. But this is a longer one, a longer form one, just because, I mean, this is such a complicated topic.
What are the flags that teens should be aware of when they're entering this new world of dating, right? Like what are the green flags of, this is signaling that healthy, safe relationship space for you? And what are those red ones? And there's yellow too, right?
Well, yeah. Depending on context, the yellow can turn a little bit more red, a little more green. You gotta, know. And I think that comes, the first sign is a pattern. Ooh, patterns. Look, because if he explodes and punches a wall one time, yeah, okay, yellow. And if that is the only time you've ever seen him lose his cool, obviously keep an eye on it. Don't be a fool, right? We're not gooses, geese. We're not geese, silly geese, right? I don't know why that was so important to me to get right, but just keep an eye on it,
Yeah.
and talk about it. And I feel that may be another sign. If you can't talk about it, hey, buddy, you punched the wall. Can we maybe have a conversation? Because we need to adjust it.
That avoidance. If you have to avoid.
Yes, yeah. And I feel like a lot of those other red flags are like sub-red flags of the main red flags.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No, why not?
Oh, it did? Okay. I was like, yeah, all right.
Little baby red flags.
Little babies. Oh, they're so cute. Well, and you had sent this really cool infographic of like this relationship spectrum stuff, where it was like, okay, there's some red here, there's some green here, there's some behaviors here, this is what it looks like. And I don't want to take up like a ton of time just going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but
Sure.
we'll link that. I think I sent it in to be linked in.
Yes.
So if you're like, maybe. There's also this power and control wheel.
Yes, I saw it that you put that on there, yeah.
And so I feel like if people, if they're curious, it's like, oh, is this, this sounds a little bit like me, hop on there, link it. I think it's directly linked.
Are you talking about the one? I went on the website and it has all of the different, it's like all those intersectional
That one.
identities.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
That was awesome, right? I think love is respect. Is that the word?
Love is
Yeah. Shout out to love and respect. You're awesome.
Yeah, that was very eye-opening.
I love finding out what I don't know. Like, it's very humbling, but also it's like, ooh, now I get to learn more things.
Right.
And, I think, again, that framework of a red flag is how you think about yourself. The way my brain connects things is crazy to me. But, it's just like you need to have a sense of yourself.
How can the power and control wheel, how can we use that to inform what green and red flags are in a relationship, in a teen relationship?
Yes. Okay, so 2 different resources. I think a good starting point would be probably the green flag, red flags, and then using the power control wheel just to supplement. So if you like go through, we'll link it if it's not already. It's all about mutual respect, but again, we talked earlier about you may not know what respect is, or your definition of respect might be skewed or whatever. Yeah, and so this is where a lot of those tiny little things that can fly under the radar are labeled. I wouldn't even necessarily say go with feelings on this one, because a lot of times feelings are not factual. Like, you're going to have to like fact check these guys.
Yeah.
If you're thinking, right, step 1, I wonder, that's probably a sign. So then go to this thing, right? Is it mutual respect or controlling behavior?
Right.
Mutually, diametrically opposed foes. Is that the Hamilton line? Diametrically opposed foes.
Nice.
So they're oil and water. They cannot mix. So then you look up, right, what's controlling behavior, right? Because if you ask a 15-year-old, a controlling behavior is mom grounded me for a week because I stole her watch.
True.
That's not the type of controlling behavior I'm talking about. That's where the
Right.
power and control wheel comes in.
Right.
A couple of
So
those.
are you
Yeah.
talking about with that controlling behavior, like, what does that look like? Especially, I know so much of teen relationships take place over social media or the digital,
Mhm.
platforms.
Mhm.
So, how can you tell, like, this is controlling? Maybe via text or
Yeah.
an app, right? How do you think that shows up?
It is so hard, right? That's why texting, again, while great, or any other digital communication form, uh,
Mhm.
is great. It's just also you have one type of communication because we know, right? Nonverbal communication is what, 70%, I think is what the statistic was?
Right.
I'm gonna they'll check that. That may not be true, but it's very high percentage.
Mhm.
Nonverbal communication, you lose that over text or social media. And I know,
Right.
like with Snapchat, you can add videos or, and captions and things, which does help. Now,
Mhm.
to answer your question, though, you kind of got to run it through the filter of that power and control wheel, right?
Mhm.
Some of those are more adult oriented, but like isolation, oh, I see there's people in there, right? Think about the content of what they're saying. Is this
Right.
using some form of control over me to make me feel
Mhm.
like a puppet to get me to do what they want to do? And it is
Right.
very ostracizing. It's very othering. They want you to be pushed away from others. And so a
Mm.
lot of the content you will see, like with Snapchat, really is a big one, but a lot of
Yes.
text too, just even just phone calls. Um, is it almost sounds like bribery, if that makes sense?
Mm.
And it's like, if you, then I, or oh, if you want to be cool, right? It's just
Oh.
very like enticing, and a
It's
lot of
very, like, benefit me, benefit you, very cost benefit.
and it does kind of feel respecty or honest-ish,
Mhm.
but you hear how it's cloaked, right? There's
Right.
they're trying to convince you to do something that at your core, right, those values that you have,
Mhm.
maybe I shouldn't send whatever. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And they're gonna be like, "Oh, come on, it's not that bad, right? There's another one." Minimize
Right.
it.
Yep. It almost makes at least what I would take that is, like, making me feel like I have an obligation to this person.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's geez. I mean, that's power right there, right? Like, you have an obligation to
Right.
it. That's emotional control because
Right.
I'm dictating how you feel at this point. And
Mhm.
I've probably, if I'm a predator here or like just a bad person, I'm going to
Yeah.
try to isolate you so you can't verify that fact. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's dishonest. That's normally coming from, oh, but I feel bad when you don't do right. That insecurity,
Mhm.
codependency. I need you. Nobody needs you.
Right.
They might want to spend time with you, but they don't need, and they're not gonna, you know what I mean? You hear it, you hear it. But when you're
Right.
there, I feel like the competing theme of, it's like that when I butchered that Taylor Swift lyric, I love him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where it just comes back. In the power
Right.
control wheel, the green fried red flag, it gets all kicked out the window
Mhm.
because, oh, the boy's cute, or the girl's pretty, or
Right.
they're not, or it's not always as bad, or whatever. So I can go all
Right.
day saying power and control, intimidation, controlling behavior, honesty, whatever. And if
Mhm.
they are like, but love.
Right.
So
We've
I'm
got 2
wondering,
parts of the brain just going at war with each other.
war. Yeah. Cause like, I know I talked about that hook being super dramatic, but like one of the reasons why was to convey that internal war that people can
Right.
feel,
No,
that at least
right.
I've heard in DV work with some women, and I'm sure you've maybe heard not as crazy versions of that, right? Of like
Mhm.
anytime, I mean, sorry, my brain was thinking anytime they ask for
No.
locations or photos
Mm.
or I don't know, they blame you, right? Um,
Right. And there goes, like, the red flag for those emotional patterns of, like,
oh yeah.
guilt tripping.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I feel like right when it crosses the line of your significant other, your partner who you're talking with, is making you feel, again, going back to that obligation, like obliged to, whether that's give you their password to their Snapchat or, say, "Hey, I don't want you hanging out with this person." And then how that can lead to that other partner feeling, "Well, if I don't do that, I must be a bad partner," and that guilt comes up.
Right. Ugh, the guilt. And that is such a big one, right? Or even worse, shame, right? Instead of I did a
Right?
bad thing, I am a bad thing or a bad
Yep.
person. Um,
Right.
and that I think is where you need to be aware of your own negative self-talk.
Yeah, absolutely, Ashley.
Like, I think one of the questions I had was why do teenagers and even just people in general blame themselves? Because it goes back to like, oh, I'm a bad partner. That's self-blame. Another flag,
Mhm,
right? That person made
mhm,
you doubt yourself. That's not what a person should do, at least not on purpose. Um,
mhm,
so how do you, or I guess, why do you think, I feel like honestly any age, but especially teenagers, they love
mhm.
to blame themselves. They internalize it and just, I mean, God, they deflect blame for everything else. Why can't you deflect this? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Right, no, absolutely. I feel like when it is about something they can control, right? Like, they know maybe these red flags and these green flags. That added layer of, like, the morality, right? The morality part and how
Mm.
that clouds with those emotions of, like you said, like, "But he's cute, but I really like him, but we get along,"
Mhm.
and how, those just go toe to toe.
Yeah, again, it's like a face-off.
Yes.
Not the movie, though. That's a good movie, though.
Don't know it.
I
Is
think it's
that your
John
millennialism showing?
actually, that's my, like, boomer dad showing, I think. Alright.
Oh,
It's an older movie. Yeah. Ooh. Face-Off, I wanna say it was, like, John Travolta and Nick Cage. It's like an '80s,
oh,
'90s
yeah.
movie. I'll
That
tell you what,
duo, wow.
I know. I mean, eh, it wasn't bad. I'd watch it again. No, I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't remember much about it, but
Got it.
Face-Off.
Noted.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and here's the thing too, I'll be like, "Oh, I love this." I don't know if you've ever done this. I asked him, I was like, "So, okay, clearly, right? Let's say we get to that point. You know you don't wanna be there. You've even maybe
Huh.
thought about leaving at some point.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part. You've thought about it, um, and then they don't, right? So what
Yeah.
do they actually do about it? The boundaries, how do they start to put not just boundaries with other people, right?
Mhm.
But boundaries with themselves. I'm not going to let this happen to me anymore. I'm going to
Mm.
change my belief systems. I'm going to talk to myself differently.
Yep.
And then, so for you, where's your, not your personal, but like for your clients,
Yeah.
how do you guide them to that first step? And is it boundaries with themselves or is it something different?
Mm.
Sorry, that was a massive question.
No.
And I guess there's physical, emotional, and digital boundaries too. So
Sure, sure.
that's a thing.
Well, and, like, I guess in a way it does go back to boundaries with yourself because to me it's like, do you know what safety is, what healthy
Mhm.
is,
Mhm.
in order to apply that to friendships, relationships, any sort of relationship, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, that idea of, you go back to when you were playing as a kid. You didn't have a care in
Yeah.
the world. You were not hyper vigilant. You were
Mhm.
present. You were not uh, thinking about what to do when they come home. You were just, I
Yeah.
don't know, playing in the leaves or whatever you were doing.
Right.
That if that keep going back to that.
Yeah.
And I know, and you actually, I think you referenced this. What to say. A lot of times I have to do, in therapy, people hate this role play, right? How
Oh,
to get
yeah.
out of those things. Because it's one thing to sit there and tell somebody in person, "Hey, nobody earns access to you," right? Like that's
Mhm.
yours to give. You have control
Right.
over your body, mind, spirit, and soul, okay? We get that,
Right.
full stop. But you have to protect that. No one's gonna protect it for you. Um,
Mhm.
especially when you have these I don't even have a word for it, predators. I mean, really,
I
is
mean,
what these guys
yes.
are. Um,
Right.
for you, I got off track, coming back.
No, you're fine.
How do you help them learn and to have the empowerment, whether that's a 16-year-old girl or a 56-year-old woman, have the vocabulary and the confidence to say no?
Right. I mean, I want to say a lot of that is like that confidence comes from your experiences and who you're surrounded by. Like, do
Mhm.
you have the support behind you to feel like you can say no? Do you feel like, because, no is a complete sentence, right?
Ha ha. Yes, no is a complete
Love it.
sentence.
Love saying that because I mean, it can be more true.
That is so true. No is a
It,
complete sentence. Yeah.
it shouldn't have to be any kind of debate, right?
You are correct. It should not have to be. And yet,
And yeah. So
and yet.
I think having that support, knowing that no matter what, you have that support in your corner behind you,
Mhm.
I think that's so important. And
Oh,
just
man.
having the confidence and the courage to instill your boundaries.
Yeah, and you don't have to say, "I'm leaving you. Bye." Like,
Right.
they what that's not the first boundary you take, right?
Right.
You might I give them a little script, right? We take these like, it's almost like a menu of phrases. And
Mm,
I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, but it's like, with the kids, let's say, they don't wanna play with Johnny because Johnny, makes them feel bad. I tell them,
mm,
"Blame your parents." That's a good place to start. We're not always gonna
yeah.
blame, but be like, "I can't today. My mom has to have you clean out the litter box. Ah, crumbs," and then,
Right.
"Sorry, Johnny," and you leave. So, like, I build on that. And so "I need time to process" is a good one. Like, you're not giving an
Oh, yeah.
answer, but like, "Oh, I just give me 5 minutes. I need time to process," or you can even get a little bit more, uh, again, aggressive's not the right word, but adamant. "I'm not
Yeah.
comfortable. I need
Yeah.
space. I don't want to do that." Those are
Right.
boundaries. Um,
Absolutely.
and those are really, I mean, people can't argue with those. "Yeah, you can clean a litter box later." Yeah, I guess you're right. "I need
Mhm.
space." You need space later? That doesn't work. I'm wondering how beneficial it is to start practicing small things that make you feel like you matter enough to protect those boundaries and yourself.
Yeah. Do you think do you think that goes back to, like, touching on those core values and
Mm,
what makes you you and implementing that to build that confidence in yourself?
yeah, because we all have these voices, right? I think it's the default mode network is where that little internal voice kinda lives, and that's a muscle, by the way. Not a muscle, but, like, you have to
Oh,
work it. It's not like a real muscle, but, like, with muscle fibers,
well,
but it's
yeah.
like, yeah, there's a skill, that you
Hey.
use to that, and that's kind of where that internal dialogue happens, and there's a whole bunch that happens
Mhm.
in that areas, reward center, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But, like,
Mhm.
um, why did I launch into that? Confidence, core beliefs, internal voice. And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
boy, it's rough some days." Um, and just not being mean, right? Because would you want a tennis coach that calls you a bucket of slop? Or,
Right.
a dad who says, "Hey, maybe if you were 5 feet taller, you'd be attractive," right? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? That type of
Right.
encouragement, I'm using air quotes and you can't see it, but encouragement. No.
I see them.
No, thank you. I say, "Hey."
And so
Oh my
no.
god, I love it, I love it, I love it. But, uh oh, but you wouldn't necessarily, right? So why would you encourage yourself that way? Right? Because there's a
Right.
reason you tolerate that type of language in your life. Somebody's treated you like that before.
Yeah, you've heard
Identify
it
who it is.
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like you had said earlier, like being modeled in the home somewhere. What if that's what was
Mm.
modeled? So you have to, and again,
Right.
that's what therapy is for, is to say, "Hey, no, fun fact, that ain't normal."
Right. And hey, you can actually have a completely healthy and regulated relationship with your therapist that can be modeled, right, together. And
Yeah,
that even if that's your first time having that relationship, that's part
absolutely.
that is part of what that's a major part to me of what therapy is that, that therapeutic alliance.
Yeah. And, we talked about small starts, right? Building on small successes they teach you in school. They teach you that for a reason. And a lot of times, even in my sessions, I'll send an email, right, to a parent or a client or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I got an opening at 3. So I don't want to work till 6. You're at 5. Right. I have an opening
Yeah,
at 3. Do you want one? And the clients who say no to me, I am the most proud of, because that is a
yeah,
boundary. That's practicing. And you're not being a rude person. You're just saying, no, I can't do that.
right.
But some people, right, with the people pleasing or whatever wound they have,
Mm,
they can't say no, or at least they feel that they can't say no. And like,
Right.
think about how safe that is. You're not going to tick me off. You know what I mean? You're
Gosh,
just,
no.
no. And yet it's a great place to practice.
Yep.
That's what I love play too, because play has boundaries. Even with some of these traumatized adults that
Totally.
come in here, right? Boundaries in play. Oh, I don't want you touching my checker piece.
Right.
Boundary. And it's just, and again, and I know again, oh, Marcella, I know how stupid that sounds, but I'm
No.
building up the confidence. And you can do that in your own life. If somebody's out there listening, and they're like, hey, this sounds like me,
Mhm.
right? Do it. Do it. Say no to the waiter when
Yeah.
they ask if you want the upcharge. You don't have to do it with
Right.
that person right away.
Right. Exactly. It can be in the smallest, most gradual ways. And each time, like that is a win because you're on the path towards that bigger goal.
Yes, bigger goal. Yeah, keep that in mind. Again, how that internal conversation. And I know I'm asking people to monitor 18 things at one time. For me, it's very easy, as you can
I was just
totally
gonna
see.
say, yeah.
I
Comes
have no
natural for
issue.
you.
Oh, you know it. No issue at all. Ha ha ha. I wish. But I mean, clearly the brain isn't made for multitasking. Like, I mean, yeah. So
Right.
there's a lot. There's a lot.
Right.
And it sounds like we have a few non-negotiables here. It's
Yeah.
basically if you wouldn't do that thing to you or to, well, actually, I make an argument about that because you'd be surprised at the double standard I hear on that question.
Mm,
Um, I'm trying to think like the most innocent, like if you wouldn't do it to like a baby, right? Like, I don't know, a puppy,
right.
a baby panda, an
I
ex
mean, I take my dogs pretty seriously.
girl. I birthed mine. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
wow.
She is my child. I don't even know what we're talking about. Um, she's, uh, but I have no remorse. That is, I'm 33 and I'm the mother of a dog. It's fine. Um,
Dog mom.
and actually, ironically enough, she implements her boundaries. She growls at me when she doesn't want something. She barks at
Yep.
me when I mean, she gets her needs met. She's a therapy dog. What
Right.
can I say?
Well, there you go.
But yeah, really.
Boundaries are cross species.
Ah, are you kidding? Is that the name of this one? Boundaries are across the species.
Stop. Stop the name.
Please. Something's there. Not sure if it's a good, but it's something. So we've honestly, dude, this is a longer form one. We have, you know, the red flags, green flags. We have resources. People can be like, hey, here's what red flag, green flags look like. You can go to power
Yeah.
neutral will. You can go to the love is respect. What on earth?
Mhm.
I'm like wrapped in my headphones. Hold on.
I can tell you're further away.
Gosh.
Come
Oh,
back.
oh wait, hold on. I got to get my power cord. 2 seconds.
That's how we roll. We adjust.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back.
Thanks. Yes, we've looked at the red flags, the green flags, the power control wheel. We've talked about Snapchat probably too much, way more than it
Yeah,
deserves.
I figured that.
Um, way more than Snapchat deserves anyway. Um,
Right.
we also, I'm trying to take the shame away, right? Like there is no shame of
Right.
leaving and there is no shame in staying if you can't leave. Like it's just,
Mhm.
it doesn't make you weak. It just makes you in an environment, right? Like that
Right.
dopamine, the love, the reward, so addictive, right? Love,
Right.
it's really powerful. So notice just,
Whoa.
yeah, that
Sorry.
your brain is probably going to be working against you on this thing.
Right.
Because it likes what it knows. Think the word is homeostasis. Did I use that right?
Oh boy.
Body goes back to what is
An
it's
internal.
considered normal. Yeah.
Right.
And safety is not bonus, right? Safety is I think you use the word baseline foundation.
Yeah.
So I think
Safety
that
isn't
takes
there. Safety isn't there. I mean, can love really be there?
yeah, because love is safety. Like,
Mhm.
safety is love. I mean, yeah, and it may not be, again, like, romantic or something, but, like, mother's love? Come on.
Right?
Come on. Ah. Okay. We know that people it's not their fault, right? But, like, we know people are gonna be like, "I need to have this all figured out. I need to know where to go." And I
Mhm.
think, really, the first step, if you know somebody or you listen or whatever, just saying, like,
Mhm.
"Hey, therapist near me." And if you can't
Yeah.
look that up, there's I will link it. I cannot remember right now. If you go to it, it has a quick exit button. And it's literally, if you hear a door open, you just click the button, it completely crashes your web browser. It will leave your computer
Wow.
blank. Not blank, like open like normal.
Mhm.
Um, and so I will find that and I will link it. But you can even do the, "Hey, I need help."
Yeah.
Uh, but I think if you're again, adults, I know where to send them. Okay, like websites and therapists and stuff. It's easy to do, maybe easier when you're
Mhm.
an adult. If you're a
Yeah.
kid, so much, right? And I think something that I accidentally glossed over that I didn't want to is we've been focused a lot on romantic dating violence.
Mhm.
What if it's interpersonal like interfamily dynamics, parents
Right.
aggressing and things like that? Like this stuff still can be applied to that. Maybe that's something I think that's a different area for a different day. But know that all you got to do is just reach out. But my question to you, that's where I was going with this was,
Mhm.
what if the teens or the person or whatever doesn't have that? Like they can't just go to therapy. Maybe they're 15, they don't have any money, right? Like
Right.
where would you, as this kind of like your bigger part of your world, send them
Mm.
or something?
I mean, you know, community is so important, at least to
Ah,
me. I think like finding those places of universality, common experiences, common interests. I have a ton of clients now and from my internship when I was more like downtown who are involved in IYG, Indiana Youth Group. I don't know if
oh, yeah, they're an indie?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um so I have seen just like the community that has built for so many of my teens and just like I said, that mutuality that like we go through, maybe not the exact same things, but
Oh, and mhm,
right, like
right.
similar things and that can build that bridge to I'm not alone.
No. Yeah.
But
And that's where,
yeah.
like, if you feel like you have no one, you just call it Indiana Youth Group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not a church thing, I don't think. That's like
No.
LGBTQ plus healthy
Yes, yes.
relationships. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure I was thinking of the right thing. Um,
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, because I remember they were like youth group, and I'm like, no, wait, push the brakes. Um,
Right.
although some youth group, if that's your safe place, go for it. I love it. Um,
Right, and if that's another what I mean by community, like, that can be
mhm.
whatever space you build with your peers to feel safe, right? If that's faith-based, that's, socially based, whatever that can look like.
Ooh, yeah. Again, safety, right? Is the people should
Yep.
make you feel good,
Yes,
and I
exactly.
I do think that maybe one area I would have liked to cover more, and we just don't have time, right? Is
Mhm.
uh how to teach your body what the safety feels like. You have to teach
Mm.
relaxation. Like I'm working with a few people now who it is everything they have in them to sit in that
Mhm.
chair for 30 seconds. They don't
Yeah.
know what's stopping. They don't know what safe looks like. They can't quiet their mind. So maybe that's something for another episode, but um
Yeah. How
yeah.
can we cope with stillness in such a fast-paced time too?
Yeah. Oy. Again, you hear the break off points of this conversation.
Right.
Um but yeah, and honestly at the end of the day, truly it's your life. If you want to stay, nobody's going to be able to talk you out of it.
Right.
But know that if people are pushing you, or it feels like they're pushing you, or if they keep bugging you or hounding you, or you feel like they're judging you, maybe just challenge that, right? That little belief. Maybe
But you
they have a best interest at heart, or ask yourself, man, what would make them care so much that they
right.
continue to bombard me with annoyances, or that's how I'm
Mhm.
perceived. Um, that right there is telling, right? Because if they didn't care, I feel like they wouldn't try to talk to
They
you about
wouldn't
it.
bother.
Yeah, in a loving way, obviously.
Right.
Um,
And it's like, we don't have to, like you said, you don't have to make a decision right then and there on what you're doing in your relationship, so long as you feel like, I feel like so long as you have one person, right? One person that you can ground yourself, whether that's in their advice, in their presence. That's so important, at
oh
least,
yeah,
especially in times where maybe there isn't an escape right now, and it is just enduring,
you
and
know,
just finding that light.
yeah. Maybe you want to leave and you just can't leave now. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And, like we said before, like, if you're a mom with kids, you can go to a woman's shelter, right? But a teen, you can't necessarily run away. You'll get the cops called on you. You'll be in juvie for 6 months, and then it's a whole thing, right? Like,
Right.
it is difficult. So that's why I like what you said about finding the safe community. Like, that's
Mm,
somewhere you can kind of turn to while you wait. Why? Because
Right.
again, you don't just want to do this without a plan. Therapy can
Right.
help with that. So clearly be like, okay, go back to those needs. I need to go to a
Mhm.
place where I feel safe.
Yep.
That is step number one. So if that place is not the internet, you leave the internet.
mhm.
Now, school's a different story because a lot of kids don't feel safe at school, but you have safe
Mm.
people. And I know
Right, and
guidance
that's what I was
counselors
like,
aren't, but I, they're helpful. Kids don't want to
all
go
it
to
takes
them, but they're
all
helpful.
it takes is one, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying everyone's gorgeous, but neither is every therapist or every senator or every Dorito Cool Ranch, because apparently I can't get an evenly distributed seasoning on a Dorito Cool
Mhm.
Ranch chip, and
No,
I
you
can't tell you why
actually
I'm
are
so
not
frustrated.
allowed.
I feel like I minimized violence there, but I apologize. But
Anyway,
eh,
we
eh,
digress.
it is with me. I am who I am. I am what I am, and nobody else. Jonas Brothers? Anybody?
No.
I think I know why I'm not reading as many books as I need to. I'm
Oh,
listening to crap music. Okay, no, it's not crap
oh,
music. It's amazing music.
yeah, don't
It's not that.
see, there's that self-talk. Don't do that.
Ah, yeah, thank you, Marcella. There is that self talk. The thing is,
Yeah,
I love it. I laugh at it. So I don't know what to do about that. Oh, if my therapist is listening, girl, I'm going to be emailing you for a session next week. Um,
Mm,
yeah. So just I think you had mentioned this earlier. As wrapping up here,
yeah,
the parent part. You said, Ashley, is this talked about at home? And I was like,
right.
no, because it's uncomfortable, really.
Mhm.
So now it's hard with a teen too, because if they're old enough, like 15, 16, you kind of want to have that confidentiality with them, but you also need to loop in the parents. So I know that it's really difficult. But
Right.
for you, as you work with these kids and their parents, or teens and their parents rather, what is your first step to helping the parents understand A, where their kid is at, and B, how to not push them farther into where they don't want them to be?
Ugh. You know, it can be so hard to build that bridge between teen, youth, any, like, dependent, right? And
Mm,
guardian.
mm,
I just, so many times I'm like, I'll describe it as like just two ships sailing past each other in the night. We're so close,
mm.
but not quite. And I feel like a lot of times, even when I do invite parents into sessions for a check-in, whatever it might be, and this might be generalized, but I see a shift in my client, and
Ooh.
yeah, and I wonder if, and it goes back to that safety, like, do they feel safe to tell me things that maybe they don't feel safe to tell whoever their caregiver is, right? And so,
Good point.
how I think it's like, how can parents facilitate safety in a way that really is the language of their kid, whether that's, like, not yelling, right? I know that's a very activating for a lot of youth,
Sure.
and, it's very, for some people, very natural when they got caught and, naturally we're angry about that, and so maybe mom and dad are yelling, and that leads to kids shutting down. So, I feel like it's so crucial to approach it with that safety and with that gentleness,
Mhm.
um, 'cause, that like we said before, that's the foundation.
Ah, see? Go back again. Would this make me feel safe? If the answer is no, don't do that thing. You
Mhm.
know, it's as a parent, like, seriously, it's like, okay, how would I want my parents to talk about this with me?
Right.
Maybe you had dope parents and they were like, "Oh, let's sit down and have a adult conversation." That's great. If your
Yeah.
parents screamed and yelled at you, then you know that didn't make you feel good, so maybe don't do that one, right? Um, I always go back to this idea, it is better to educate first than to try
Yeah.
to go back and undo something. I'm sure there's a more elegant way I could have worded that, it is not in my brain right now. But educate, right? Get ahead of the problem. You don't wait until you're
Mhm.
dying of cancer to get chemotherapy. You
Right.
get when you first do, and you do screenings before then if you know it runs in your family, right? So it's like you hear a lot
Right.
of this that was that's hyperbole for you. Um, I talk in the drama, it makes it hits home.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's a developmental piece in that too, right? Yelling at a 8-year-old because they took the iPad
Mm,
responsible. Yeah, I'm not a huge proponent of yelling. Um,
yeah,
it just the ears turn off. All they hear is the tone and not the words. But
Absolutely.
if you were to collaborate, right?
yeah.
One, it gives them, no matter what age, a little bit of say in their life, a little bit of autonomy. And I feel like with
Yep.
these teams that you were talking about, the youths of today, that's a
Mhm.
big deal. They are controlled everywhere.
Yes.
It feels like, hey, we obviously I got to keep you safe as a parent. Let's come up with some ways for me to do that where you're not feeling like I'm stepping on your throat.
Right.
And now you may have some of them, and I'm sure you come across, they're like, no, insert every profane vocabulary Latin word you can think of in here and run with it. That's not who I'm talking about here. Clearly, there's exceptions. And if you have that, I've got parenting material, call me. Yeah, I can help you out. But
Bingo.
it's all about coming together, helping them understand the deeper meaning, right? They're hearing you want to control their life. You're trying to say, I don't want you to end up dead on a ditch.
Right.
Two very different conversations and come back to
Mm.
it. My one big piece of advice is checking in. It's again, last time, right, with the love language. What did you hear me say? What message are you picking up? If the answer is you
Mhm.
hate me, being like, hold up, are we too dysregulated? Because again, you're
Right.
still you still have all of the anatomy, the neural anatomy, the brain development to internally regulate your emotions, right? We see that a lot with kids. That's why they can't. That's why they explode in the second because their executive cortex isn't built. Yours
Right.
is, hopefully, and it's not too damaged
Mhm.
from the stress of the world. But um,
Right.
you have that power. Use it. You have that knowledge.
Right.
Model it.
Exactly.
I could go on forever. I'm very passionate about it.
Mhm.
You can't strong arm, you gotta collaborate, and I think that's where you're coming from too, is saying, "Hey, you can start with a therapist, I can help guide your folks if they're a little cray, they're a little cuckoo, like, I get it." Um, it's a perk.
Right. And
Having that.
even if that is just sitting down and with your kiddo, if listening to part of this podcast, right? Like,
Yeah, mhm.
that could be one of those first steps to introduce, hey, what is a healthy relationship and what are things I need to look out for?
Yeah, kinda like when, I don't know if you ever do this for people, you, like, assign them to watch a movie. You do this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And then you're like, pick out the awfulness, right? Whatever it might be. And families can do this, and you don't even have to do it, right? Make a game out of it. I don't know. You'd be like, ooh,
Right.
that wasn't healthy. Even just a comment.
Right, yeah.
Label
I
it,
love
pink or
that.
purple elephant. If I tell you not to think of a purple elephant, what are you going to think of? A purple elephant. But I'm going to tell you what to think of, right? So maybe point out when something's unhealthy, and then maybe point out when something's healthy. They're going to be like,
Right.
whatever, it's dumb. Who cares? You said it. They are
You said
learning.
it.
It's okay to be annoying.
They're gonna think of you that way anyway.
Okay. Shoot. Dang, we covered a bunch of stuff. I've got 4 big statements. The takeaways from this thing. And I know, again, we joke, we have fun, we have conversations, but this is serious. I have known people who have died because of this stuff. And I know in the communities, it's February 2026. We know in our communities, things have turned up that are not pleasant. And it is horrifying and unspeakable. And so I want to give this the gravitas it deserves, because this is extremely serious. And a lot of people like to minimize it or it doesn't happen. And I want those people to know it is very serious, because all it takes is one time. One. So if you're okay, I want to read these final takeaways just to close out the episode, kind of how it deserves, with the respect and dignity that this topic needs. Are you cool with that? Or is there anything you want to add before I go into it and then we wrap up?
No, I think that sounds like a very intentional plan. I like it.
Yeah. No, I think these each are very important. Dating should add to your life, not shrink it. Love should feel safe. Butterflies and anxiety are not the same thing. You deserve to feel calm, respected, and free. I think that summarizes things about as poignantly as I could. And we could do probably a whole episode on the entropic nervous system in the gut and how that's your second gut, and trust it.
Oh.
That's an episode for another day. That's why you get those butterflies, by the way. It's an entropic gut. Most of your serotonin, I think, is produced there. But Ashley, you're going off again. Oh, we have these 4 statements.
Neuro.
And they're amazing. Okay. What should our call to action be? I'm thinking we keep it simple. If it's you or if it's somebody you know, you pass it along, give them a hug, get them to where they need to go. And if it's you, maybe think about reaching out to a safe person? ?
Yeah, I like that. Pass it forward. Even the smallest acts of kindness can make the biggest change.
Pass it forward. Even the smallest acts of kindness can make the biggest change. Boom. Boom. There it is. Way to end it, Marcella. I'm excited to see what's on the next episode. I know we have a couple of good things coming.
Yes, people have to stay tuned.
People have to stay tuned.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Thanks for being here. Your growth starts with one small step, and you just took it. If this resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Connect with us at adjustmentalhealth.com and follow along on Instagram or Facebook. We'll see you next time. A quick heads up. This podcast is here to educate and inform, not to replace real therapy or medical care. We're not establishing a therapeutic relationship, and what we share might not fit your individual needs. Always connect with a licensed mental health or medical professional for personalized support. Think of us as a starting point, not the finish line. If you're in crisis, please reach out. Call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You're not alone, and help is available 24/7.